All right, Tommy, we're about to be live in about 10 seconds.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first panel of the 2020 The Race Speaker Series, excelled by Citizen Trust Bank. Running my own business, the panel of Black business owners in the running industry. How's everybody doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Good.
Great. So I want you guys to introduce yourselves so everybody knows who we are. I'm going to start with you, Tara, with Natural and Fit Designs.
I am Tara Taylor. My company is Natural and Fit Designs. We sell active wear for women, and I am the owner of Natural and Fit Designs, based out of Loma Linda, California.
When did you guys get started, Tara?
We started in 2016.
Perfect. Now I'm going to go to Caleb with Relieve It.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Caleb Williams. So I am the CEO of Spraingo LLC. My company, we develop and distribute Relieve It, which is a natural pain relieving and wellness remedy discovered in the late 1800s in Trinidad. My company started in 2014.
All right. And now let's go to Jay and Joy.
Yes, good morning. This is Jason and Joy Hunt. We are the owners of Elite Feet, premier footwear for the entire family. We are a running specialty store. We are the only independent African-American owned running specialty store in the country. So obviously we're at our brick and mortar store. We have shoes for the entire family. You can see the kids' shoes behind us. So for the active family, that's what we do. So we appreciate you guys for having us on this platform.
Thank you for joining us. And last but not least, of course, there's Tess with Running Nerds.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Tess Sobelmehan Marshall. I'm the founder, CEO, and head running nerd of Running Nerds LLC. And we are a facilitator of the running community. We put on running events, group runs, clinics, whatever the running community needs, desires. We are willing to get into it and dabble in it. And we are also the proud producers of The Race.
Thank you, Tess, for joining us this morning. I know Tess is really busy, so taking time to do this panel, we do really appreciate it. And the first thing I want to say, of course, everybody that's on this panel, your companies have something to do with fitness. But the main thing that I think all of you have in common is that you're entrepreneurs. You have to be a brave person to step out on your own to start any business. So I'm going to start with you, Tara. I want to start with the question of why did you decide to start this business? Was there a special moment that happened that you said, you know what, I need to do this. This is a niche that I want to be in.
Sure. So I love clothes. And so any chance that I can get to buy new clothes, then I'm going to do that. So I'm a runner. And so there is running clothes. And I would always go and wait for, Nike or Adidas to put out their summer tank tops because I'm a lover of tank tops. And every year is just like the same, like just do it in purple, just do it in green, just do it in red. All right. So there was that. And then in addition, you would see tops with, a white girl running, long ponytail flowing in the wind. And I'm like, there's got to be something else. On top of that, there was when the Black Girl Magic shirts came out and, really powerful, bold statements on t-shirts. But at that time I was in the corporate world, so I wasn't really wearing t-shirts. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to, instead of waiting for someone to put something together for me, I am going to create it. And I just put those bold statements and put them on shirts that were functional for running.
Great, great. I mean, I looked at a lot of your shirts, very nice, and then you have a lot of new stuff that you kind of started with things that are going on in the world right now. So definitely,
Yeah.
people need to go check her out. Now, I'm gonna go to you, Tess. Now, Tess, you're out here in Atlanta, and you started Running Nerds. Now, in Atlanta, there was already other running groups, Atlanta Track Club, whatever. You were running with one as well. What made you decide that you thought Running Nerds was needed?
Yeah, well, like you said, we have a bustling running community here in Atlanta. And at the time when we started in 2012, I think that was right around the time where a lot of different kind of niche run clubs and groups were forming. And Running Nerds really just became kind of a niche where, people who were kind of getting into running and wanted that like experience where you could be a fast runner, a walker, anywhere in between, someone that wanted to really get out and compete with some of the best runners in the city, all the way to, hey, I just want to get that t-shirt and that medal. We wanted to put together events that were welcoming to all of those facets of interest in running. And so Running Nerds, the name itself came from the fact that every time you start running, you become nerdy about it. You start planning your weekends around running. You start talking about it. Like everything on Facebook is all about, oh, I just ran today, and getting all the friends liking and all that stuff. So I think we really started at a time when, more opportunities and entries into running was welcomed and needed. And certainly that has grown tremendously. I mean, just look at all of the different run crews and groups that we have around the nation. And I'm proud to, kind of be one of the first to kind of get in there and develop that type of niche.
Definitely, Tess. I've been to Tess's races before. The one thing I love about your races, Tess, it's so eclectic. Your races have from slow to fast, from black to white. You have every single snippet in there at your races. And it's always very creative. I don't know if anybody's held a conversation with Tess for more than like 15 minutes. Tess gonna come up with 3 ideas while you talking to her. Like, just like that, just popping them off. Tess is a true entrepreneur. Now, let me get to Jay and Joy. Now, Jay, a running store, brick and mortar. Tell me again, what year did you start your store?
2015.
2015. What did you just notice there was a lack of stores in your area? What was it going on that you decided you wanted to start a brick and mortar store in the 2000s, which is not usually the way to go anymore?
Yeah. So it's a very good question. So I used to be in the pharmaceutical industry. I've been in sales my whole life, and I was actually in Japan on business, and I kind of found out I was getting laid off. So being with this company for 10 years and giving your heart and soul, and they can just, get rid of you in the drop of a dime. They paid for my master's degree. I went through their management training. They put so much they invested in me, and they just basically cut me with everybody else. So that was just crazy. So there was no loyalty, but I always wanted to dabble in entrepreneurship. So I would always drive around our community literally like every Sunday and figure out what was missing, because I wanted to start something. And I wanted something that could, something that was for the entire family, whether you're white, black, Republican, Democrat, whatever. What is a product that you can actually utilize that crosses everything? So I was driving to the mall, which is about 20-25 minutes from our house, to buy shoes, and I was like, that's it, a shoe store. And me having a pharmaceutical background, Joy still works in pharmaceutical sales. You kind of put that back in there all together. And then we started doing the gait analysis and things of that nature. But I'm always about entrepreneurship and about African-American entrepreneurship. I think we're always consumers, and a lot of times we're rarely producers. So I wanted to do something to show entrepreneurship and to lead by example. So there was a need, we filled it, and we just are all about African-American business and empowerment, economic power, because I think that's the single largest thing that we lack in is economic power.
And I can confirm that that's true. We started the business in 2015, but we've been married since 2007 and dated since 2002. And he has always been talking about starting a business. I mean, he's being 100%, authentic and transparent when he said we would ride around and look at commercial spaces, for years, trying to figure out where there was a real need to meet and a problem to solve. And so I'm grateful that we found this community.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you guys are a great team. I'm gonna get into your little teamwork here a little bit later, but let me get to Caleb, because I know he's sitting over here, he's ready to talk. Now, Caleb, your product, and I read through it. It sounds you have three different lines, I think, isn't it right? You have
That's right.
the joint. Well, I'm sorry. You have the Springo, the gel, and the foot spray. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, now we've all had that remedy that maybe our grandma gave us back in the day. What made you take your grandma's remedy and decide to put it in a bottle and sell it?
So fantastic question. So for me, it all started about 6 years ago. My son was a soccer player, got invited to professional weekend tryout. Dude sprains his ankle on the first day. And, we're all active, right? Pretty much everybody's spraining an ankle. You're pretty much done for a week, maybe two. So my brother happened to be at the tryout along with me, and he's like, why don't we apply the family remedy? I'm like, what family remedy? So my son goes back to the hotel. He could hardly walk. And my brother and I go back, and we find this little piece of pine resin that had been sitting in his medicine cabinet for 15 years, by the way. And so back in the day, in the late 1800s, my grandmother discovered that the Caribbean pine resin had extraordinary restorative properties, and she created this remedy. So anyway, we apply this remedy to his ankle. He calls at 7 a.m. the next morning and said, Dad, I'm ready to go. Man, what are you talking about? You couldn't walk the day before. And that's really how it started for me, man.
I gotcha. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I will tell you, it's funny. Jay just talked about his experience out in Asia. So in 2012, I was an expat. I worked for Citibank, and I was based out of Europe. And I'm in Manila doing a presentation for some big bankers out in Tokyo. My boss happened to be in town, and he listens to my presentation, and it went so swimmingly well. He turns to me at the end of the presentation and said, "You've missed your calling." And so we both joked, right? But as I'm walking out of the conference room, something drops in my spirit and says, he's right, you have missed your calling. Now, at the time, I'm running operations for Europe, Middle East, Asia, and Africa. So I'm thinking, okay, it's the next big job with Citibank. Little did I know, an ankle sprain would change the course of my life.
That is great. It's unfortunate your son had to get injured for it to happen, but we're happy that it turned out good. Talk to me a little bit about Caleb, a little bit about the process, because your product is a little different. You truly probably had to go jump through some hoops to get it started. Talk to me a little bit about the process of getting that home remedy to where it is now.
No, fantastic question. So after the injury, my son's injury, I had the remedy modernized. We tested about 200 people. We use a tool called SurveyMonkey for traceability. Over 70% of the people reported they had relief lasting more than 24 hours. So we knew we were onto something, right? But there's a whole lot of snake oil out there. So we had to go from, okay, we've got 100 years of anecdotal evidence to we had to prove it with science. So I pitched to the big medical university here in Tampa, University of South Florida, got accepted into the incubator, and they started the study, what's called a biological and chemical analysis, in January 2019. A year and a half later, they confirmed my grandmother's discovery as a new plant-derived anti-inflammatory drug discovery, the first credited to search discovery credited to a Black-owned company in the history of the United States.
Nice.
Wow.
Later, we found out that this same remedy, not only does it treat everything from plantar to shin splints to ankle sprains, runner's knee, but it also does something that nothing else in the world does. It prevents the onset of muscle soreness. That's the game changer. And so, but the process that you asked about, so far it's cost me about $500,000, right? So I'm broke today. But we got the FDA clearance, and we actually just started a study now, because the end game for us is to take the pine resin and create an extract. So we're going to bring to market the world's first sports drink that prevents muscle soreness. And we're going to, with that extract, we're going to license that thing to the Starbucks and the Nestle's, because now you can have anti-inflammatory. If you're diabetic and you got internal pains and so forth, you have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. And instead of putting drug products into your body, you have a cup of tea or a drink with Relieve It. And so anyway, I know there are others, so let me shut up. There are other people on the panel.
Thank you. No,
That's
everything you said was
awesome.
very interesting. That is great. And the main reason I asked you that is because I think there are probably other people sitting out here with their grandma's home remedy. I keep saying I'm going to do something with aloe vera, but their grandma's home remedies and you know the process you have to go to get it. Now, Tara, I kind of want to go to you because yours is, you basically state your statement is to empower Black women. So you put yourself in a little bit of niche. Have you seen any drawbacks? Have you felt any glass ceiling or walls because you're promoting mainly to Black women?
I haven't really. So when I go and I do different expos, different race expos, if it's a general population race, then you know, I have a lot of white women walk by and they're kind of like, yeah, you know, that doesn't really fit. But I do, my demographic is Black women, but I do have other shirts and sweatshirts and stuff that are general population that are, you don't have to be a Black woman in order to wear it. 90% of my stuff is for Black women, but I do have other items that other people can wear.
And the reason I asked it, just like, because like you said, you go to expos. Has there been any there wasn't any expos that were like, well, nah, we're good? Are they pretty much, yeah, you got 250? Okay.
Right.
We're gonna have a table for you.
Usually that's it. So there's a local running store that I went into. I introduced myself. I was new in town. I introduced myself, and they were having an event. And she was like, yeah, sure, come on out. And so when she looked at my stuff, she was like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. But she just kind of played me off. But then I saw her at another expo and she was introducing me to somebody. She was like, oh yeah, that's the girl that she just sells to Black girls. If you're not a Black girl, she can't sell to you. But we had built a relationship by then where that comment, it wasn't off-putting, but she realized the niche that I was in and how important that is. And we're friends to this day. I do all of her events and she promotes me as a running coach and I promote their store as a local running store. So it's kind of, sometimes I kind of get a nod because some of my statements, they are bold. Like you have to be strong in order to wear some of my statements. You know, running down the road, I'll have people peering out of their car. Don't shoot, I'm just running. What? He has to go. What does that mean? That's exactly what you read.
I'm hoping you got one. Shut up, man. I hope you got, come on, shut up, man. I hope you got one of those coming pretty soon. I'm gonna need that.
I was thinking about it. We'll see.
Thank you. Now, Jay and Joy, I didn't mean to keep you guys waiting too long. I really want to talk about the working dynamic between husband and wife. Because like I was saying before we started the panel, during the pandemic, we've had to spend a whole lot of time with loved ones. We love them, but we've had to spend a whole lot of time with them and relationships kind of changed. How is it, and how have you guys worked it out that you have to, you know, wake up with each other, go to work, see each other, go home, see each other? Has that affected your relationship at all?
No, and this is just being really honest. We have great personality. Like we rarely argue. Now, when we do argue, you know, we argue, but we rarely argue because like our personalities kind of like our personalities mix. Like she's kind of you know, I guess they call it what, Beauty and the Beast, and I'm the Beast, right? So she knows my personality. I'm very simple, very plain. She's the eclectic kind of, I want to say complicated. I want to say more advanced than me, sophisticated. Yeah. So we are like, she knows what I like and what I don't like, and we stay out of each other's space. So we're a type of couple, we could stay around each other for years and rarely have a disagreement. That's always been us. So being around a pandemic and being close to each other is actually a blessing because I'm always out. I'm at the store almost 7 days a week. You know, I miss some of the kids' stuff. So the last 7 months has actually been a blessing because I've been home a lot more. So for us, it works out. So our personalities, we're just not we've never been an argumentative couple.
But I
That's,
think too,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Joy. Go ahead.
so we're managing a store, we're managing a marriage, we're managing a family. We have 2 boys. I perked up when Caleb talked about soccer. Both of them play travel soccer. So there's many things that we are managing, and we've always kind of divided duties while still, staying intertwined. So we're not completely siloed, but we recognize what each other's strengths are, and so we really play to that, how we decide who's going to do what. I'm definitely more back of house, a little bit more nuts, bolts execution. I handle much more finance and HR. Jay is the face of the franchise, in terms of, day-to-day operations in the store. He's the man when it comes to that. And that really works for us. Now, the pandemic did change things. And like you said, Jay spent a lot of time in the store, hours. Now that COVID has really shifted us to appointment um, operations, it has allowed him to really be home more. And it has really brought us really intentional buyers who really need us and who are really wanting that consult, not just to shop for shoes. And they've always been looking for the service aspect of what we do in terms of gait analysis, but it's brought us much more intentional buyers and allowed him to really be home more, which has been wonderful during the pandemic.
And let's get, because my next step was going to be being brick and mortar when the pandemic started. Now, I don't know what the rules were in your area. I don't know, did they shut you guys down for a little while? Did anything like that happen, or were you able to stay open the whole time?
They shut us down, I think the 3rd week in the pandemic, but we really didn't shut down. We just kind of did what we were doing now, just by appointment only, wear your mask, have hand sanitizer as soon as you come in, only, the max 5 people in the store. So we did that. So we were basically down for about a week, and then we've been surging ever since. So ever since the pandemic, we were always trending. We always did well, but we had a major competitor that's about maybe 30, 20 minutes away. They had 2 stores and they got rid of one. And then we were literally the only game in town. And they've been here. They were like a stalwart store in our community. But they're about 20, 25 minutes away. They closed their store down. So we were trending in the right direction anyway. Then COVID just took us to the next level and beyond, because all the big box stores were closed, all the gyms were closed, and everyone had to say, I got to do something. So they start walking, they start running. And as Caleb will tell you, they have shin splints, they have runner's knee, they're running in the wrong type of footwear. Boom, they come here. So
perfect. Now, Tess, I'm going to come to you, and kind of the same question about the pandemic, because of course you do races. You bring a bunch of people together and get them to run a few miles at the same time. Tell us and I know you had all kinds of ideas, not only the ones that you actually you put out to us, but tell us how that affected your business.
Yeah, so the only race that we have been able to produce and host this year was in February, the end of February, Atlanta Mission 5K, which, luckily is one of our bigger clients. But we have not put on a live race event since February 23rd. And we were scheduled to host about 15 events, including the race. So this should be the live race weekend. It's still the race weekend, but we should be, what's today, Friday, at Impact Event Center, grinding out, for our 7 hours. So the city of Atlanta in particular has not allowed even a permit application to be submitted since March, which is the only way that you can host a race. There have been some events that have taken place outside of the city of Atlanta. Trail races have been, fairly successful, ultra races, things of that nature. But those races are able to happen just because they're smaller events. They're able to really socially distance people. But unfortunately, that model doesn't really work for Run Social and Running Nerds and the race events, because we're all about getting as many people as we can together to run. And all of our events have that social aspect to them where you're, hanging out in a space. So, we've had to pivot to some virtual events. We've done a couple of virtual events this year. And then, of course, the Race 2020 pivot is our biggest virtual, and we have, I believe, about 1,530 people participating in the race this weekend.
Nice.
And I am like just humbled, floored.
Nice.
And it was a really, really tough decision. Well, it wasn't a tough decision. It was more so just like when we had to make the announcement that we weren't going to be able to host a live event, it was like, I know people are going to be crushed because, I mean, they're getting these notifications every other day from every race they signed up this year saying, we've gone virtual or we're moving to the fall. And we knew in June we weren't going to be able to postpone the race. That wasn't going to be an option for us. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely affected our businesses. But what I'll say is, what I've learned is that people are definitely resilient. They're definitely willing to support their favorite events in whatever format you present to them. So that's why we were extremely adamant about putting together a virtual experience that people would be excited to participate in. I think we're in the midst of something really great this weekend.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to my 13.1. I do want to ask you, Tess, also as being a Black woman, race director, starting a business. Tell us a little bit about that. Like when you first got started, was there any pushback? Because like I said, all your races, any event I've ever come to has been very eclectic. It's never, singular of one group of people or niche that you get into. But have you ever had any pushback because you are a Black woman, trying to put on these races?
No, definitely no pushback. What I have found that has been amazing is more African-American, Black women in particular are willing to check out my races and participate and sign up because they want to support. I mean, that's how we do. We support our own. And I take a lot of pride in that. When I put on my events, I want them to be welcoming to anyone and everyone. But I keep the Black woman in mind on just about every decision because I know how we are. I mean, case in point, for the race 2020 Black Girls Run, it has always been the #1 run club that participates in the race. All we gotta do is just put it out there and they support it. And I know a lot of that is because they know they're supporting a Black female race director. I mean, there aren't very many Black race directors nationally that are putting on national events. There aren't very many Black women race directors. So I always kind of find myself in these positions and all throughout my career. I was a women's basketball coach for several years. Also, so, I've always found myself as kind of like one of the first or one of the only, and I feel comfortable in those spaces because I know that, I'm going to definitely do all I can to make sure I represent and give people an opportunity to see, hey, she's doing it, I can do it too. So, but definitely no pushback. I think the cool thing is a lot of my races, people don't even know who the race director is. Might be pleasantly surprised or surprised when they find out it's a Black girl that's running around crazy with the bullhorn all day.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, always great events. Now, Caleb kind of told us a little bit about what his future is with his company. I wanted to talk to you because I'm going to be drinking Relieve It instead of Gatorade from here on out. So once that drink comes out, we throwing the Gatorade out. It's all about Relieve It. Tara, what is your future in your company? What do you look to do with the next step in your company?
So I look to just, I'm 4 years old, but it takes a lot to get up and going, right? So when you first start, you think that just because you start something and you put it out there, that people are going to come. And that's not necessarily true. It takes a while for you to get the message out there. First of all, find who your person is, not just all Black women, but who is the Black woman that is the perfect target audience or the perfect customer for you. So I just look to continue building customers, building the things that I offer. Right now it's just tank top, t-shirts and sweatshirts, but I want to increase that to, adding bottoms. I've had lots of requests for leggings. And that was in progress right before COVID hit. I was, talking to some manufacturers, going to some trade shows. And then once COVID hit, that just kind of, put that on hold. But I do want to, I want to expand my audience and expand the offerings that I am able to offer my customers.
Perfect. Now, guys, we're coming up on the 30 minutes. So We're going to keep talking on YouTube Live, but on Event Hub, they're going to be switching over. Next up is a word from Citizens Trust, our speaker series Excel partner, and they're going to be coming up now. But if you want to keep watching, you can check us out on YouTube Live. All right, now let's keep going. Now, Jay and Joy, what are you thinking about opening another store? Is anything in your future?
Definitely not opening up another store. No,
No.
I just don't trust anybody else with our baby. So our whole thing is going online. And one of the things that Tess was real big. It's like, oh, you gotta have some products on there. We're getting there. We're getting there. And people always have been asking us, oh, when you guys gonna come online? But it's such a huge undertaking. We were able to find the right partner to help us do that. And we're actually purposely launching this weekend. We're launching now on the race. So we're like, we're going to get the kinks out. We did get the kinks out. We understand how to use it. And you know, we got to get in that process. Now I'm an expert in it. We're an expert in it. So going online. So being online so everybody can see us, www.elitefeet302.com. If you wear Brooks, if you wear, you know, Saucony, New Balance, whatever the case may be, Hoka, it's online and you can get it and it's free shipping. We're going to have some extra treats for the race folks, but being online, going online. So literally we're international. That's one. And secondly is doing online gait analysis. That's something that was like a vision that I had a couple years ago, and it came to fruition during COVID because I didn't know how it would work. So using her brain, I kind of put things out there. She kind of perfects it. And now we do gait analysis, a virtual appointment. So people who need their handheld, which there's a lot of people, even people that are, avid runners, they just don't know about their feet. So they send us pictures of their feet in this little application. They send it to us. We ask them a series of questions, and I can tell if they need a neutral gait cushion shoe or a stability shoe, motion control shoe. I can do that just by looking at their feet at these 4 specific angles.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, definitely. And once you guys go full online, I'm going to definitely check you out. Yeah, so I might need to buy some shoes from you today. Now, Caleb, now you did talk about your future. Tell people if they want to purchase Relieve It. Of course, you're at the expo. They can look there, but on a regular day, how would they find your product?
All right, so they can go to Amazon, they can go to Relieve It, the letter B, the number 4, Relieve It B4. And we're also launching in running stores. So just in the month of September, we launched with 4 chains. We're running a pilot right now with Fleet Feet. And so we've got Relieve It product in locations across the country. We're working with Jay. We've got some other partners. So I believe we launched in about 17 stores just in the month of September, 4 different chains, and we're looking to, by the end of 2021, we're going to be in all 1,200 specialty running stores. So you'll be able to find Relieve It everywhere.
Great.
Can I add that you can find Relieve It in the expo today if you scroll down?
Yes, exactly.
I got it on my neck right now. I woke up with a prick in my neck, and man, Relieve It took care of it. Man, it was crazy. I have it on my feet. I use it for my feet now. I had some issues when I started running a couple of weeks ago. Put it on my left foot, no issues. So we love the product.
Go,
Wow.
Caleb.
So if I can just add one comment. So and by the way, I love the testimony. It's beautiful. So what we're doing is, as we're launching with running stores, we're educating the owners and the staff that the underlying issue of most pain is inflammation. So I read a study recently that said 65% of runners suffer an acute injury almost every year. 1/3 of those become chronic. Why? Because it's improperly treated. Now, what does that mean? If you use a pain blocker to treat something where the underlying issue is inflammation, you're going to keep using that pain blocker for the rest of your life, right? And so that's where, so when you hear Jay talk about his experience, because Relieve It deals with the inflammation, and that's what sets Relieve It apart.
Great. That is wonderful. Now, Tara, how can of course, once again, you're in the expo.
I'm in the
today,
expo.
But on a regular day, if somebody wants to get your product, how do they do that?
So on a regular day, you just go to www.naturalfitdesigns and you can check us out. I'm going to show you our shirt we use the colors for the race.
Nice.
Unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable. This is our race collection shirt. Comes in men's, women's, long sleeve, and hoodies.
I can get that in the
Performance hoodies.
expo right now.
You can get that in the expo right now. Yes,
All
sir.
right. That's why everybody, we need to get a shirt. Now, just kind of talk to you guys as a group. Now that we kind of on borrowed time, because you all have started businesses. Have you ever thought about taking that expertise, not just expertise on what you do as far as shirts and Relieve It and the actual store and being a race director, but have you ever thought about taking the expertise of actually starting a business and educating people on that? Has anybody ever thought about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I know I do a lot of mentorship through my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, but we do a lot of mentoring. I'm from Chester, Pennsylvania, which is outside of Philadelphia. There's a lot of schools that I go and talk to kids about entrepreneurship. So anytime I have an opportunity to talk about entrepreneurship, I do it. One of the things that when you're an entrepreneur, you're able to hire people that look like you. So I've hired a lot of people that look like us and we mentor them, young folks. So, and obviously we have other Caucasian folks that work for us too, but it's all about mentorship and being the example, leading by example and going out there and doing it. People say, oh, we need to do this and to do that. We actually went out and we did it, and we are leaders, but we lead by example, and that's what we try to do. We always try to give back, and we always try to mentor the youth about entrepreneurship. Kids that are always out here wearing Polo, wearing all these other brands, start your own brand and start, because what we do and what we wear, people, the whole world looks at us and they just follow us and then they just make money off of it. So that's when I'm like, you can be that leader. You can be that person that sets the example.
Exactly.
I'm a Delta, so shout out to Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated as well. And so again, volunteering through there and exposing children, I oversee a program for middle school boys where we bring in entrepreneurs to speak to them. But it's not even just about entrepreneurship. It's also about entrepreneurship within your community and staying connected to your community as well. And I think we really strive to be examples of that as well.
And one last thing, and I don't want to call this a generational curse because my dad, his generation was the first generation to go to college in our family, but all they talked about was go to college and get a job. That's all they kept saying is go to college, get a job, work for somebody. So now our kids, we want to let them know is no, you can be an entrepreneur. You can go out and you can work for somebody, get the experience, but try to know about marketing, know about entrepreneurship. It's not all about working for somebody else. You can work for yourself and you can create wealth, but also you can hire people that look like you. So we're trying to change the narrative. So the hardest thing to do is to change the way someone thinks. And that's how we're trying to change how people think.
Yeah, and I think with all of you all, representation is important to somebody to see you doing. I mean, to someone to see Tess directing a race, to see Caleb is behind Relieve It, to see Tara that she put together her own business, see Jay and Joy. Because I know even with podcasting, I saw Darrell Patterson, who a lot of people don't know, but he was the start of, or him and a couple other guys were the start of Real Runners podcast. And when I saw them doing it, I was like, I guess that's something that you can do. And that's really how I started doing my podcasting. So I'm with you on that, Jay. Kids seeing you do this is great. I do have a question for you, Jay, because you talked about earlier, you found out you were going to get fired while you were in another country. I just want to know, did you go and take that corporate card, go get the fattest steak, go get you some whiskey? I hope you ran that card up, bro.
I had my American Express. I was literally in Osaka, Japan. And so we were over there. I won an award, the global, the Global Award? I forget whatever award. I was over there winning an award. And they literally had the, they were speaking in Japanese and I had the interpreter thing in my ear. And I was like, did I hear them right? I'm like, oh, wow, they're going to start laying off. So I was telling my colleagues back at home, they're like, no, you're crazy. They're never going to lay off. This company has millions of dollars. I'm like, I'm telling you, I heard them say that. So then that was in November of 2009. and we found out May of 2010. But and then they're going to lay off in June. I'm like, they're not going to lay me off. I'm back home now. I'm like, dude, you put all this, you sent me to Japan, you invested all this money in me. You're not going to lay me off. I'm that dude. And when that consultant comes in, they don't discriminate. And I got the call. I was like, what? So that was crushed. I was humbled, crushed. I was like, me? You cutting me? Really? I was like, all right, game on. So yeah, I didn't do that, but
you didn't get to run it up on them.
No, man, I did because I had to pay it off anyway.
I guess so. I mean,
severance. Now that severance was a nice.
Okay. I get what you. Yeah, I've been in that situation. I went in another country. I used to work for MCI, and they did us like that. They flew us all to DC and was like, "Hey, come on in, sit down. Hey, as of June, and can we get your cards, please?"
Yeah.
So I've been there. So I feel you, brother. All right, guys. Well, I'm just checking. Does anybody have any questions that they want to present to anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to touch on something. For me, coming into the business, as I mentioned, I kind of fell into it, and after we did, the studies and so forth, then I had to figure out, okay, how do we get this thing to market? And I don't remember how I met Tess, but Tess started connecting me, Tommy, with all kinds of people. Wow. Last night, we launched our partnership with Black Girls Run. Okay. We had, we did a Facebook Live. We're doing, I think, Instagram Live next week. Tess connected me with Jay. And so it's just become a domino effect. Tess started it all. And through those connections, as I mentioned, 4 Chains, the biggest specialty running chain in the country. We're in talks with the second and third largest specialty running store chain, all because it started with Tess.
Nice.
And I kid you not.
Nice.
And so the point is that we're finally beginning to understand that we are our brother's keepers,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And so I just wanted to give her some love because
the love.
Nice.
Yeah. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you.
I have a question for Tess. Is this the first year you're doing the race virtually? Because I know.
Oh yeah, and hopefully only.
Let's say this is a question. Next year, let's say hopefully we're back to normal. We can go in person next year. Will you also keep a virtual component too, so people can do it around the country?
The one thing that, again, we don't want to claim that, we wanted any of this to happen, but I think, we are all examples of how to make the most out of the situation. But I think that we have learned so much. I mean, y'all, we have put in a lot of time to make this virtual experience happen. We don't want it to go to waste, all the skills that we've learned. I mean, I've become a video editor, producer, director, Tommy will tell you, so I think there's definitely some opportunities for us to expand the reach of the race. I mean, we've got people participating this year that I don't think would have participated if it was a live event. Mm-hmm. We definitely have some people that are like, nah, I'll wait till we get back in person. And I have no shade to those people. They're probably a little jealous right now, though. They're not, but I think there's going to be some opportunities for us to expand the reach. And then I just wanted to say, Caleb, thank you so much for the kind words. Kind of going back to your question, Tommy, about have we ever thought about, mentoring or sharing our business knowledge? I believe that's kind of my way of sharing my business knowledge is making connections. And I was going to make that statement before Caleb said this. One of the things I love is to meet business owners and figure out how we can connect. I mean, Jay and Joy can tell you that when I heard about Elite Feet, you reached out to me, I think, first because you heard about the race. I was like, okay, what can we do? I want a Black running specialty store to be our lead running specialty store, whatever we need to do. We have, plans for them to come down with the bus and activate. I told him, I was like, listen, I need you to be front and center. We're going to promote you. And, so that's kind of my passion is to connect business owners because, I mean, I've always been intentional about working with as many Black owned businesses as possible. I mean, Tommy, because I call on you guys to take the lead on a lot of things, and we got some more projects that we're going to be working on this year. And then also, I've gotten to the point where, I take pride in, all that I've learned as a business owner. We've been in business for almost 10 years now. I mean, there's a lot of race series run groups that have not stuck around for 10 straight years. Think about all the businesses you've seen come and go. So, I think that we are poised to continue to grow. The race is, even if I, for some reason, decide to get out of race directing, the race will always be a project. It will be part of what we're doing under the Running Nerds banner. So I think it's a great opportunity, and just even this collection of business colleagues. I know all of you guys. I follow your businesses. I'm a big fan of all your businesses. Tara, I'm gonna get my shirt today. And I just appreciate you taking the time to share. And I think we probably inspired a few people to move forward with an idea or concept that they might have.
Most definitely. Well, guys, I've totally enjoyed myself being a part of this panel. Tess kind of threw me on this one. She just sent me a schedule. She was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna do that one." Oh yeah, these are the people.
We all just fall in line now.
Which I was, if Tess is telling me to do it, it's got to be great. So I had no problem with it.
Absolutely.
I want to thank all you guys.
Pick Tommy because he's a natural, right?
He's
natural, definitely.
He's good.
But I love it. I love speaking to people. Honestly, I'm probably gonna contact every last one of you to be on the podcast because I love all your stories. But thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with us. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy the expo. Hey, Tara, I'm about to head down and grab me a shirt right now.
All right,
grab
cool.
Leave it. Check out some shoes. So,
go through the expo so that you can get the special discount.
I'm going through the expo. Everything is through the expo today.
Yes.
Y'all have
yes.
a great one, guys.
All right, you too.
Thank you now. Peace.